All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we have multiplication properties, and we're basically talking about three multiplication properties. We're talking about associative property of multiplication, which has to do with how you group numbers, okay? So you can, and when we talk about group numbers, we're talking about where we put the parentheses in a problem with more than two numbers. So this one has 16, 2, and 5, 16, 2, and 5, and it's how you group them together. I could put the parentheses around the 16 and the 2. I could put them around the 2 and the 5. But what the associative property says is that no matter how you group them together, it does not change the product. And the product is the answer to a multiplication problem. So no matter how you multiply, 16 times 2 first or 2 times 5 first, associative property says that it's going to be the same answer. Okay? Commutative property. Okay? It has to do with the order in which you multiply. So if you have two or more numbers, the order in which you multiply 35.5 times 17 or 17 times 35.5, it doesn't matter. You're still gonna, does not change the product. The order doesn't change the product. So if I have numbers 2 times 3 times 5 times 2, I can multiply them straight across. 2 times 3, and then the answer to that times 5, and the answer to that times 2. Or I could do, 2 times 2 times 5 times 3. Or I could do 2 times 3 times 5. It doesn't matter what order you multiply them in. It doesn't change the product. The commutative property says if it's all multiplication, it doesn't matter what order you do it in. So you can do it in any order that works best for your brain. And then the identity property is the simplest property of all. It just means that whatever factor you have, whatever number, times 1 will always equal that number. So I could have, like 15,463 times 1 would equal the same number, 15,463. It doesn't matter what the number is. If it's times 1, it's always that number. That will be your answer. That's identity property. So you got your three properties. You got associative property, you got commutative property, and you got identity property.